Last week we left Alaska and drove 1,700 miles south. This week we find the perfect little lake to just relax for a bit.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, Riddle's gonna like this.
Camping right on the lake's edge.
Wow, look at this. This is nice.
Nobody's here.
Just the way we like it.
Hang on a second.
It's cold outside.
Today we are in British Columbia, Canada, and this is Valentine recreational site, free camping, right on a lake, which is beautiful. And we're in the off season, so we're the only ones here. Super peaceful, lots of choices where to camp, right on the water. This is mushroom season, and so I'm hoping to get around, take a look, see if I can find any wild mushrooms, or just wild edibles for that matter. But super excited about this location. This is just the kind of areas that we like to find off the beaten path, away from the big crowds. That's a little boat ramp right there. And into the water, nope, Riddle stayed dry, but I think Riddle's gonna really like it here. The gravel's gonna be easy on his feet. We don't have to worry about him getting too muddy. We'll just have to keep an eye on the weather so we don't get trapped this far off the highway. So we are near the town of 10 Mile, and we're 10 kilometers off the pavement. And there's a little frost covering the tops of the trees. It's absolutely beautiful. Right from camp here, I'm going to walk down the trail, see if I can find some mushrooms. We're probably right at the end of the season here in late October, but I've already seen some mushrooms out here. I'm going to see if I can go identify at least one new mushroom that I haven't identified before. And there's little trails leading all over the place. The weather seems perfect. It's been wet. It's been cooling down and getting colder. Let's go see what we can find. All right, Riddle's staying right with me. He's helping out. Although I do think he dropped his ball back somewhere on the trail. I'll have to go back and find it. But I do see a mushroom right up here, and I want to check it out. It's popping up through the ground. And I think it might be a Rusula. And there's 700 or so different varieties or more of Rusula mushrooms. Some are edible, some aren't. They say that you can do kind of a test with them to identify them, and a test to see if they're edible or not. So if they taste peppery or sour, do not eat them. Make sure you do your own research. I've actually not done enough of my own research to consider eating them yet. So I'm still at the identification phase. I see that something's been nibbling on this already. Could be a squirrel, could be fox, not sure. But I'm going to take this one out and see if I can identify it. So, the reason why I think it's a Rusula is because of the stalk. And this stalk, well, for one, it's got gills. And they're very brittle, to where you just barely touch them and they start coming apart. I don't know if you can see that or not. That I just rub my finger on and they start breaking apart. And they say if you have a rusula that the stem's the same way. It doesn't just bend, it kind of chips. And that's exactly what it's doing here. As I'm pushing on it and pulling on it, it's hard. And when I break it, it breaks like chalk. And so even though that may identify it as a rusula, it doesn't necessarily identify it as edible. So that's why you need to do your own research on these. And they say just to take a little taste of them and to see if they're spicy or whatever the taste, and then spit that out. Because of course you want to cook all mushrooms before you eat them. But I think I'm identifying this correctly. Look at that big cap. And the gills break apart too. I can almost... There we go. They say you can also peel the tops of them. So if I get my fingernail, does the top peel or not? Yeah, it kind of peels off with your fingernail. But it definitely breaks apart. It's almost crunchy. You can hear it kind of crunching when you put your finger against the gills. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is. That's a big mushroom. So these can parasite and transform into what they call the lobster mushroom, and I found those as well. And they're kind of a reddish color, and I think that's what it gets their name. Some people say they taste like lobsters. I've tasted them before. The ones I've found did not taste like lobsters, but they were still good. And that's when they're supposed to be at their choice, at their very best. Great smell to it. Something is going to eat this mushroom tonight. I'm going to come back tomorrow, see if it's still here, because I have found probably 4 or 5 of these already. Yesterday, came back today, they're all gone. So we'll see if this one's gone by tomorrow morning. All right, so let's keep walking, see what else we can find, even if we don't find more mushrooms. This is another rusula. It's just been eaten all the way around. Huh. I wish we had a game camera to set out in front of that mushroom, because I bet you something's coming for it tonight. Well, there's no shortage of rusula mushrooms here. Here's another one, just a piece of it left. Something's been chewing on it. I think these are the short-stalked white rusulas. All right, so there are a whole bunch of mushrooms here. They're all over. And this is kind of like the first stage. If I find a mushroom like this, I'll check it out, and then I'll go back and see if I can properly identify it. I've got this one book that I like to use for a wide variety of mushrooms because it has hundreds of different species in it. And it's the National Audubon Society Field Guide. And I find it very useful. I have other mushroom books I like as well, but this one covers a lot of range of mushrooms and has super good pictures. And then once you identify the picture, you can go look at the description, where it's growing, what kind of trees it likes to grow in. What really sold me on this book is the detailed photos. The pictures are super clear and precise. They did an excellent job, and you can just see the details in the mushrooms. And so if you take a closer look, it has a page number where you can flip to, where it gives a whole lot more information on where you can find the mushroom, what kind of trees it likes, if it's edible, if it's not edible. It's just super good. It's well done. But so this mushroom here, it's a giant patch of them, and I really wanted to know what they were. So I checked it out in this book, and I think I found it. I'm pretty positive I found it. The stem matches, the cap matches, the different stages of it match. I was looking at this dimple on the top, and then the overall smoothness and the color, and then I checked out the bottom of the cap for these fins, And then the stem itself, the color of the stem, the smoothness of the stem, the small little lines in the stem. So everything matched up. Hi, Rudel. Rudel wants to be on camera too. But they all matched up with one of the mushrooms in this field guide. And I'll break open the book here in just a minute and show you. So this is what appears to be a common Leucaria. If I'm pronouncing that right, I'm probably not. But the first time I identify a mushroom, I'm not going to eat it. It does say it's edible in the book with caution. So there's a lot of different species of this particular mushroom. I want to see it in all stages and be real familiar with it before I try eating it. But it was just, this is how I start. This is how I start getting familiar with different mushrooms that I find along the way. And it's growing right in with the bearberry. This is bearberry. And I have found bearberry everywhere from the West Coast all the way into Colorado, up in Canada, down in New Mexico. But they have the green oval-shaped leaves. And as it starts getting cold, they start turning red. Very similar to blueberries, except for these are ground creepers. These are usually only a couple inches off the ground. Make sure you do your own research. Don't take my word for it. They got little berries on them. And yeah, these are edible. And they have a different taste, something like I've never tasted before. They're not juicy berries, they're kind of dry. They got a pit in them that's crunchy. And then kind of almost like a chalky but sweet berry to them. I think they're pretty special. I grab them and eat them every chance I get. And the seed itself doesn't hurt my teeth. I can just crunch right through it. There's this little loop trail right down from camp. And it goes to a boat dock and then comes back around to the other side of the campground. And it's in really good shape. Oh, looking up in the tree up here. If this is a little bit earlier in the season, that dark bushy thing, that would be bright, super bright yellow. And some people call it witch's broom. And it will stick out for sure when it's that bright yellow color. Just scared up a spruce grouse. Heard it flying away. It was pretty close in there. So continuing down the trail right from here is this really cool little fishing dock that they made, and it's only accessible by foot. I mean, I suppose you could tie your boat up to it from the campground. But it looks really new. It looks brand new to me. And to me, it's a good opportunity to go out and see if I can spot a fish. Because the water is crystal clear with a little bit of green tint to it. Are there any fish in here? I'm sure there is. I mean, they don't put in a fishing dock unless there's fish, right? Oh yeah, there's two big fish. Oh, that one's good 18, 20 inches. They look like a rainbow. Can you see them? Oh, nice. Even the second one was a pretty good sized fish. Well, that's cool. Probably just hiding right underneath the dock, and then when I walked on it, they took off. I don't see any fishing gear, no lures. I do not have my fishing license for British Columbia, Canada, so I won't be fishing. But I might be dreaming about it. Those were giant. Super cool. Continuing on down the trail, looking for mushrooms or anything that stands out. And it's fun just to have the time to do this, just to walk down this trail, go as slow as I want, not in a hurry. And it seems like I spot more things because just slowing down and taking a closer look. What is that? Looks like some kind of fungus. Looks like a leaf almost. It's got frost on top. That's why it's white. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Some kind of a mushroom fungus. It looks like this hasn't been down for too long. I have no idea. That was going to be hard for me to identify. But we'll keep on going. Looking at the trees from this angle, they got a white, well, they got a little bit of snow on them that's stuck on the side of them that hasn't melted all day. And now it's just getting colder. It kind of looks like frost or something. And we're getting into a little bit thicker part of the forest. Oh, there goes a squirrel. A little bit more moss covered. So we might be picking up some different kinds of mushrooms. Keeping an eye out. I think that grouse is somewhere over here as well. Not sure how far it ran off. And when I do see these mushrooms, I want to identify, you know, every one of them, but there are so many different kinds. If I can just identify a new mushroom every, you know, couple every year, I'm happy with that. It all adds up. Well, right along the trail, it's a little bit open right here. I'm a little bit surprised, but there's still some mullein. A lot of it this time of year is already grown up and already done. Browned out, dried out. But this still has some green on it. And I love mullein. Mullein helps me out with my allergies. I always like to have some on hand. And it's good to see. Very common in a lot of the West. Pretty much all over. You can find mullein just about everywhere if you look hard enough. There's some more. Nice little surprise. Not seeing that many mushrooms to this area. This section of the woods here, we got a good mix of birch and conifer. And I'm always keeping my eyes up into the trees as well, as you never know if there's going to be oyster mushrooms or possibly a lion's mane, which I have still never found. Would love to find one on my own. Yeah, there's a mushroom here. Looks like, I don't know what it is. Like a little silver dollar almost. It's got gills, a white stem. I might be able to find that in my mushroom book. A squirrel up in that tree. There it is. Very curious. Oh, hey little squirrel. Maybe you're the guy eating all the mushrooms. Are you the one eating all the mushrooms? You could be. You or your friend the fox. Okay, I won't scare you. Oh, is it gonna start snowing? It might. It could just be blowing out of the trees. So this is a rec site. And there might be 8 places to camp, picnic tables and fire pits and that sort of thing. But there's also 2 pit toilets, which is kind of, you know, it's a pleasant surprise anytime you're free camping and there's pit toilets already available. Not that we need it, but it's just nice to have. This one's fairly new. And I think the deal is on these is they're camper maintained. They expect the campers to keep them clean. And I think it's working. I mean, I took a peek in here and it looks good. I mean, this one looks new, but it's definitely being maintained, which is nice to see. And this is one of 2 for such a small free campground. And they've got the clear roofs, so in the daytime it's not pitch dark in there. Easier to keep clean. And here's a few of I call them the upper campgrounds. Oh, look at this. This looks like a hornet's nest. That's either blown off or been taken down. I don't know. But look at that. Yeah. And it's way too cold for bugs here, so I wonder what tree that came out of. I don't see those on the ground very often. So here's the main body of the campground. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 picnic tables here. The road keeps going down. I'm gonna have to walk down the road a little bit later. See if there's another campground at the other side. And then we're at the lower lot. Today's just barely been above freezing all day and feels like it's starting to dip below right now. I can hear the van going. That means Carrie's probably got the heater on. She doesn't need to run the van, but it's been cloudy all day, so we're probably getting just a little bit low on power. Get your ball. Come on. Get your ball. A sunshiny day. I don't take these for granted anymore after all the rain and snow that we've been having. And it just feels so good to be outside. I know, it's
happy
not inside the van.
It's not very warm. I mean, it's probably like 35 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but it's gonna do nothing but get colder, so we're enjoying this. So this is gonna be an outside day because it doesn't look like the sun is gonna hang around for much longer. Going for a walk. We're gonna go check out that dock. I think I just heard a grouse fly.
Did you?
And there's quite a few grouse in this little area, so maybe we might not see them, but we'll probably hear one. Rudolph's he's feeding off our excitement because he is just super happy today.
He is. This is the best thing ever.
Doesn't get much better than this, and I agree. This is my favorite kind of thing too.
I think I could count 3 different types of pine trees.
Okay.
And I love pine trees.
Well, let's hear them.
I don't know what they are, but they're different.
Okay, 3 different kinds. There are so many different kinds of pine trees that
This one's here, right?
I only know a few. Yeah.
Tall.
Uh-huh.
And then this one's clearly different because it's got long leaves, right?
They're not, yeah, not leaves, but
Needles.
needles, yeah.
And then this one's different too.
Yeah, I think that's the same as this one.
You think so?
Yeah, look at the bark.
The needles are different. These are hard and those are soft.
Oh, that is a difference. Yeah, these are soft. And also the shape of the needle can tell you the different trees as well. Let's see here. Absolutely, Carrie. You are right. The bark is different too. Yeah, I'm not super good with trees, especially pine trees, because there's so many kinds. You know, some of them I can definitely identify, but not all. All right, this is just a short distance away from the van, and we're coming up on the fishing dock. Isn't that nice? Now keep your eye out for fish, because they'll see you, and then they'll take off. I wish the water was completely still, but...
This looks like a great swimming lake.
Yeah, I bet it is. You should try it.
You like to do cold water swims?
Yeah, I could probably jump in and then get right out, but that'd be about it. Okay, now look for fish. Oh, it's too windy. I don't see no fish today. You see any fish?
No.
Ah, that's a bummer. They've been here. They like this dock.
Sure, Dave.
I got them on camera.
Okay.
We both agree just walking out on this dock and spending time out there makes us want a tiny boathouse. I don't know if that'll ever be in our future, but it would be kind of cool, I think.
Maybe we don't ever buy property, we just buy a houseboat.
There you go, and then you just move the houseboat from lake to lake, so it's kind of nomadic, right? Kind of like that idea.
We really needed the sun for our batteries.
Were they getting pretty low?
Pretty low.
I hadn't even checked. Yeah, the sunshine is great.
I often say one of the hardest things about van life is making the bed. And one of the secrets to having a dog and living in a van full time, lots of blankets. Still doesn't matter where we are, we still have a million blankets. Just like when we had a house. And yes, that sound you hear is my heater. I know, the doors are open, but it's not exactly warm out. And you cannot pass up an opportunity to open the doors, air everything out, and just clean your home. And if you travel with a dog, be prepared to sweep a lot.
Wood's not exactly dry. I have to get
Hi, buddy. You have a good day. Did you have a good day? Yes. You're a good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy. Oh, hi. Hello. Where's Dad? Go get him. Go get him. What's he doing?
My favorite thing about this area is just being on the lake front and having that wide open space and looking at this emerald green lake in front of us.
Yes. My favorite thing, of course, is anytime I'm amongst pine trees and near a body of water, I'm a happy girl.
Yeah, the air is just filled with that pine tree smell, and if you haven't been around pine trees for a while, you really can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, this spot's amazing.
Okay, so we're going to tell you what you need to know.
Okay, first off, there's just for amenities, there's picnic tables, there's fire pits, there's 8 sites here at this location at the lake. There's 2 pit toilets. One of those pit toilets appears to be wheelchair accessible, along with a wheelchair accessible trail.
Down to the fishing dock?
Down to the fishing dock, and it loops around. So it's a pretty short trail, less than a quarter mile, but really nice.
Yeah. This is a recreation area. Best we can tell, it is not for hunting. We did have some people come in and do a little bit of hunting. I don't know if certain times of year they can do that, but usually not. This is the shoulder season, and so we only saw a handful of people. But if you come in the summertime, some of the complaints were you can never find a spot at this lake.
Yeah, you can even take a look at Google Map on your own and look, and you'll see it's packed full of trailers and RVs. So timing is critical when finding a spot on this lake to camp at. And if you do come on the shoulder season, make sure you have a way to be able to tell what the weather's going to do, because we are 19 kilometers off the pavement here.
Yes.
And away from the nearest town.
Yeah, we were really careful coming in because we wanted to make sure that if we got snow that we could get out. And the road was very rocky, and mostly on the way out it's downhill, so we have gravity in our favor.
Yeah, and what Carrie means by rocky is there is a couple areas where we had to drive slow because of rocks, but it's gravel, so we're not sinking down into the mud. So that means that if it does rain or snow just a little bit, we're probably going to be able to get out.
Yeah, and it's kind of potholey too.
Yeah.
Any size rig?
Yeah, I'd say any size rig, but you know, timing, like I said earlier, timing's important because it could be full.
And I just wanted to say, if you haven't been to British Columbia, Canada, it is worth the time. This province is so big, it's so diverse, incredibly beautiful. You could spend months here and not explore everything that it has to offer.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time, but we are here in late October. It has been quite chilly.
And there's snow in the forecast. Speaking of forecast, so you do have Verizon, right? Did you have one bar of Verizon?
I have one bar of 5G Verizon, and of course here Starlink works perfect. And
yeah, and this is a pack it in, pack it out, you know, free campground. Basically, this is a user-maintained campground, so it's the users that are picking up the trash, that are keeping the toilets clean and stocked, and they're doing an excellent job.
They did come when we were here,
Yeah.
which I was surprised.
Yep.
Yeah. And one last thing, we think this is a fishing lake, and we, best to our knowledge, think this is a stocked fishing lake.
Yeah, and the only reason we say that is because I did see some big rainbow trout out there, not very many, 3 or 4 of them. No small fish whatsoever.
Yeah, and no eagles and not a lot of birds feeding on fish, and it doesn't really look like the fish is big enough to sustain life over winter. So
yeah, we could be wrong on that, but that's what it looks like.
That's our best guess.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay, this was a perfect stop to just relax and rest. Rudel loved it. He does not want to leave. He likes his walks every morning. He loves playing ball. And we just, what we needed after the long drive and transmission.
Yep, and if you come here, the nearest town is 100 Mile House. That's the name of the town. And it's about 20 kilometers away. It has grocery store and fuel stations and all that stuff. It is a small town, but it's nice to be able to have some resources that are close, because we are 20 kilometers off the pavement here.
Yeah. And actually, that's why we're leaving today, is we're short on food and we're short on gas.
Yep, and there's snow in the forecast.
All right, thanks for coming along. We will see you next week.
If you would like to support our channel, please consider becoming a patron. We also have stickers available in our website store. Thank you for watching.